Hello, my name is Susanna and I work for the Crawfordsville District Public Library. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make 4 different kinds of braided friendship bracelets as part of our Adult Take and Make program available at the second floor reference desk. So this is the continuous half hitch knot, this is the alternating half hitch knot, this is the lark's head chain, and this is the square knot. I'm going to start all these bracelets in exactly the same way. So I'm going to start with this one, the continuous half hitch knot. So I am going to take my yarn and I am going to measure the length of yarn required for this bracelet, in this case 12 times the final length that I want the bracelet to be. I'm going to measure it by wrapping it around my wrist. So there's 1, 2, cut that final length. This yarn needs to be folded in half with one side being 9 times the end length and one side being 3 times the end length. So I'm going to measure that out again. 1, 2, 3. So there is my corner. And now that I've got where it's folded, I am going to tie an overhand knot at the very top. All right, now I can just tape this down and I'm ready to start my bracelet. So this string is the one which is 3 times the end length. So I know that that is strand B on my instructions. And this strand is much longer. This one is strand A. So I am always going to keep strand A on the left and strand B on my right. So step 1 is to take strand A and pass it over strand B, leaving a loose loop like this. Step 2 is to pass strand A underneath strand B and through this loop. Then I pull it tight, and this is still strand A, and this is still strand B. I've still got strand A in my left hand, strand B in my right hand. And I'm just going to keep repeating. See, this bracelet is about the length that I would like it to be, so I am going to finish it off now. And again, it's the same technique for finishing all of the bracelets I'm showing you today. So at the end of the braided section, I am going to take the 2 strings together, wrap it around my fingers to tie an overhand knot. Then I am going to go to the end of the tails. They're a little long for me, so I am going to trim them about here. going to tie an overhand knot at the end of each tail. And I'm going to untape my bracelet. And I am going to pass these tails through the loop at the very start. So now I have a new loop, and I'm going to pull on the tails so that the new loop gets very small. The old loop from starting the bracelet, this one right here, is snugged up right near the top of the bracelet. So then I am going to take my tails and stick them through the new loop. Then I am going to pull the starting loop over the top of the bracelet, like that, so that it forms a nice little slip knot between the knots at the end of the tails and the knots at the end of the braided portion, so that I can adjust how large this bracelet is by just tugging on the tails. I'm going to work on the alternating half hitch knot, which needs only 6 times the length of my final bracelet. And this one, I want both strand A and strand B to be 3 times the end length. So I'm going to match up the ends here and follow it along till I get to my loop at the top. Again, I'm going to start the bracelet by tying that overhand knot, taping it down. So this one is strand A in my left hand. This one is strand B in my right hand. I'm going to start it in the exact same way as the continuous half hitch knot, where strand A passes over strand B, then under strand B through the loop, and it pulls tight. But then the next thing I do, instead of continuing with strand A, is I take strand B, pass it over strand A, leaving a loose loop, then take B under A and through the loop and tighten it. And I just continue alternating back and forth. And this will go on for a while until you get to the end. So I am now going to show you the lark's head chain, which requires 2 colors of yarn. Okay, here's string 1 and string 2. Outer strand A, 5 times the length, string 1. Inner strand A, 3 times the length, string 1. Inner strand B, 3 times the length, string 2. Outer strand B, 5 times the length, string 2. So I'm going to take outer strand A, again in my left hand, and I'm going to pass it over inner strand B, leaving a loose loop. Then I'm going to pass outer strand A under inner strand B and through the loop. Pull it tight. next thing I'm going to do is pass outer strand A under inner strand B, leaving a loose loop. Then I'm going to pass it over inner strand B and through the loop. And pull it tight. So that is the shape that you wind up with. Next, I'm going to repeat those steps, but with outer strand B going over inner strand A, leaving a loose loop, then go under and through the loop, pulling tight. Then going under inner strand A, then over and through the loop, pulling it tight. And then I'm just going to keep repeating with outer A over inner B. And then I'm going to continue it till it's the length that I want. Finish it off just like our previous bracelet, and it's done. Finally, we have the square knot, which requires 3 kinds of yarn, but the one in the middle will not be particularly visible. As you can see from this previous example, the yellow is hidden by the gray and the green. All right, so we have string 1, which is 9 times the end length, doubled over to make this double width strand A. We have string 3, 3 times the end length, which is doubled over to make the middle strand. String number 2, which is the same as string number 1. It's 9 times the end length, doubled over to make the double width strand B. So we're going to start with strand A, passing over the middle, leaving a loose loop, and passing under strand B. Then strand B goes under the middle and up through the loop of A. Then pull it tight. Now I've ended this cycle, and I have strand A, which was on the left, now on the right. It has traveled. It has swapped places with strand B, but this is still strand A, and this is still strand B. So when I start again, to repeat my pattern, I'm going to take strand A over the middle, even though it's coming from the other side, and strand B over A, just like before, and then strand B under the middle and up through the loop of A. pull it tight. And they've returned to their original positions, with strand A on the left, strand B on the right. I'm always going to start with strand A, going over the middle and under B, no matter which side they're on.